घुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरहोई भव सिंधुरे अभय चरणारविंदरे तीतातप बत भरीसन हे दीन जामिनी जागिरे तीतातप बत भरीसन हे दीन जामिनी जागिरे विफल से विनु कृपण दुरजन विफल से विनु कृपण दुरजन सफल चुकल बला गिरे अभय चरणार विंदरे ये धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन एते के याचे परस्थिती रे हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन एते के याचे परस्थिती रे कमल दल जल जीवन तलमल कमल दल जल जीवन तलमल भजहु हरि पद नीति रे अभय चरणार विंदरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास अभिलाष्य रे अभय चरणार विंदरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंद नंदन अभय चरणार विंदरे अभय चरणार विंदरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपद 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 जय प्रभुपद जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साक्षातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नायसिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गुरतिसे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयितगिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुतेनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ॐ अपवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थो गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सा बाह्यव्यक्तं शुचि श्रीविष्णु। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you so much for joining today's session. हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम लीलानाथ प्रभु and Hare Krishna Madhvi Mataji दंडवत प्रणाम. Am I audible to all of you?
Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Audible Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा पद्मा माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम सत्यदेव प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम अभिषेक प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम शिल्पा माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम मधुसूदन प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम थैंक यू पुष्कला फॉर जॉइनिंग टुडे सेशन so
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
हरे
Pranam.
कृष्ण धन्यवाद thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are discussing about conversation between Maharaj Rahugana and Jadabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam 5.12. So before the actual class, I would like to share one of my dream which I got recently. One of the night I got a dream. So in I was sitting in my office room and I got a letter. It's a dream actually. So I got a letter from my HR saying that your performance is not up to the mark and we are cutting your salary. I got that letter. So seeing that letter, I was furiated. I got very much angry. I have done everything. So I was doing all the tasks as per the given task. But why am I said that your performance is not good? I was I was I could feel that I could feel that anger is coming. So I went to my HR and shouted there. This is not right. This is not the way you should deal with your employee. I'm doing all the tasks. So he said, we are not responsible for this. And your boss has given you the feedback that you are not working. So I ran towards my boss and said, this is not the right. We had some argument there. So I was expecting my boss to say, this is a mistake, and I wanted him to apologize. So when I woke up, I was meditating upon this theme. So I was falsely thinking I was a devotee. See, here we are dealing with a great devotee called Jadabharata, who was doing his task of carrying the palanquin. But we know that the entire pastime of Jadabharata. So the king Rahugana was upset because Jadabharata was not doing his task properly. And the other people who are carrying the palanquin is like the HR. They are given the feedback that the person is not working and it is not their responsibility. And later, Rahugana was asking for apology. So till the time, I was thinking that I was a devotee. I was like Jadabharata. But this dream has given me my true nature. No, I am not Jadabharata. I am just Jada. So Jada means one who is not changing. Even after hearing so many lectures, so many lectures, so much association, so many rounds of chanting, still the anger, the lust, anger, and greed is there in my heart. So here, I am conditioned. We are all conditioned over here, and Maharaj Rahugana and Jadabharata are exalted devotees. How can a person like me speak about Jadabharata and Maharaj Rahugana? So truly, I am not capable enough to to discuss about Jadabharata. So later I was meditating. So if I am not capable enough to speak about Jadabharata, how am I going to do the service? Then the same chapter 5.12 has given me that as we are not capable of doing any service. We are not capable of doing anything except only by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of our Guru Maharaj and the devotees like all of you. This is impossible. Like one of the slokas says, it's only because of the mercy of the devotees that we are doing any of these services. Until and unless their mercy is there upon us, we cannot even chant the holy names. So it is we falsely think that we are the doers. Ahankara. So we all have that ahankara. So I pray at all of your lotus feet that one day this ahankara, this false prestige, pride, everything goes from my heart. Not of all of your mercy, this is impossible. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, for giving me this opportunity to speak and make something about Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll start today's session. So in the earlier class, earlier Asras Prabhu has wonderfully explained. So let me, so Dasas Prabhu has wonderfully explained how to control the mind. So there he explains that chastising is needed to purify our life. So we run away from chastisement. We don't want to take shelter of the Guru because Guru chastises us. We don't want anyone to chastise. But this chastisement is very much required in our life. Understanding the real purpose of the Vedas. Vedas sarve aham eva vedyo. So by means of all the Vedas, I am to be known. Only the Krishna is to be known. So Krishna is the one who is to be known. That is the purpose of the entire Vedas, entire thing. Why what we are doing. And Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate yoga, ultimate benefit to the humankind. Controlling mind is the essence of the spiritual progress. So without controlling our mind, it is impossible for us to grow in the spiritual life. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, mind is your friend and mind is your enemy. You have to make friend with the mind. So controlling the mind is very much important. And we had in our SSR sessions that by doing the mantra meditation, only the mantra, bona fide mantra can control our mind, which is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the false identifications are dangerous. Just like we think that I am this, I am a human, I'm an American, I am an Indian. So these are all designations of the body. So how the designation of the body is dangerous is explained in this section 5.12. Let me share Veda base. So here Rahugana is still doubtful about his enlightenment. So he said, I did not understand your statements clearly. So what you have explained, what yoga you have explained to control the mind, I could not understand that. So it's just like like a parallel. How Arjuna says, controlling the mind is very difficult. It's like controlling the wind. Even I can control the wind, but controlling the mind is much more difficult. I could not understand that. So that you can see how Arjuna was baffled, was saying that he is incapable of controlling the mind. But Maharaj Rahugana was saying, I did not understand the instructions very clearly. If Rahugana was not properly understanding, so what is the status of all of us? Then how can we understand? Then Rahugana is saying, so what is his problem? The king could understand by his speech how exalted and advanced he was in the spiritual knowledge. So after Jadabharata spoke all these instructions, Queen Rahugana could realize what an advanced devotee Jadabharata was. He very much regretted his offense against him. So that is a sign of a pure devotee. So immediately he could understand and he could see that he was bitten by a serpent called ignorance. Because Rahugana was also a devotee, he could understand his problem. That is a ignorance. So here, Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures explains that it is a disease of the mind. Ignorance is nothing but disease of the mind. It's all about. Ignorance means we are forgetting who we are. Jivera Sarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityares, which is our eternal identity. We are eternal souls who are eternal servants of this Lord Krishna. So we have identified, we have forgotten that we are the souls and the servants of the Krishna, and we are thinking that we are the proprietors. We are this body. This is the ignorance. All this is because of the mind. This is the disease of the mind. So once the disease of the mind is eradicated, we get our natural identity. He could not understand the Jadabharata's instruction. Could not be understood by an ordinary materialistic person. An ordinary materialist person reads this chapter, they cannot understand what is happening over here. He said that on the surface of globe, all the living entities, moving and unmoving, are but a transformation of the earth in different ways. All these bodies which are moving are nothing but a transformation of the human body, transformation of the earth. So we'll go directly to the text number 1. Anyone would like to read the translation of the text number 1?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Pranam Prabhuji. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 1 second. King Rahuguna said, "O most exalted personality, you are not different from the supreme personality of Godhead. By the influence of your true self, all kinds of contradictions in the Shastras have been removed. In the dress of a friend of a Brahmana, you are hiding your transcendental blissful position. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you." Shall I read the purport, Prabhuji?
King Rahugana was often. Yes, please. Please continue.
Yeah. Purport. From the Brahma Samhita, we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam.
Rishabhadeva.
Brahmadeva was the direct incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. His son, Bharata Maharaj, who was now acting as the uh, as the as the Brahmana Jada Bharata, had received his body from the cause of all causes. Therefore, he is addressed as
Karana Vigraha.
Karana Vigraha. Hare Krishna.
So here, King Rahugana was paying his respects to the Jada Bharata. So because Rahugana, after hearing the instructions of Jada Bharata, he understood how exalted Jada Bharata was. So first he said, by the influence of your true self, all kinds of contradictions in the Shastras have been removed. In the dress of a friend of a Brahmana, you are hiding your. So Jadabharata was acting like a bad person, like a Brahmana Bandhu. So having born in a Brahmana family, one doesn't become a Brahmana. So they're called Brahmana Bandhu. So here, Jadabharata was truly a Brahmana, truly a Vaishnava, but in order to avoid the materialistic persons, he was acting as a friend of a Brahmana. But actually, he was a son of Rishabhadeva. So he was earlier the Bharata Maharaj, who was the son of Rishabhadeva. Having born in the family of a Rishabhadeva, who is incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was an exalted devotee. That's what King Rahugana was mentioning over here. Anyone would like to read the text number 2? The translation itself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text 2 translation. O best of the Brahmanas, my body is filled with dirty things, and my vision has been bitten by the serpent of pride. Due to my material conceptions, I am diseased. Your nectarian instructions are the proper medicine for one suffering from such a fever, and they are cooling waters for one scorched by the heat.
So here, Rahugana was explaining about his condition. What is his condition right now? So what is his condition? Is why is my body is filled with 30 things. So here we can identify ourselves with King Rahugana, just like being a materialistic person. In the view of materialistic person, we can identify ourselves with in the shoes of King Rahugana. So what is our position as of now? Our body is filled with dirty things. So what are the kinds of dirty things which we have? So here Srila Prabhupada explains that the dirty things are nothing but bones, blood, urine, stool, and so forth. This entire body is a sack of all these things. The skin is like a sack and holding the bones, blood, urine, stool, etc. And he says, my vision has been bitten by the serpent of the pride. So my vision, so our vision, which is a Sarma Chakshu. So we have the materialistic eyes. So one has to see with the Shastra Chakshu, which we have learned so far. So because we are bound with the materialistic vision, it is like bitten by the serpent of the pride. Due to my materialistic conceptions, I am diseased. So our disease is by the material conceptions. So there is nothing like material or spiritual. Everything is actually spiritual. But our conception is we have become materialistic. So what is materialistic conception means? Srila Prabhupada explains that this object is useful only for my enjoyment. Suppose like this, there is a cell phone over here. This cell phone is for my enjoyment. Everything exists for my enjoyment alone. That consumption is the materialistic conception. There is a spiritual conception means any conception which any object which you are using for service of the Krishna. That is what spiritual conception. Having this material conception is our disease. This is our condition. Filled with dirty things, bitten by the pride and material conceptions. So, what is the solution for that? So, how can I say? Your nectarian instructions. The nectarian instruction of the Guru is which is much more required in this case. This is like a medicine. These are proper medicine for one suffering from the fever, and they are cooling waters. The entire world is going on under the bodily consumption and creating hellish condition. This is why we are facing the problem. We are under the bodily consumption and creating hellish condition, which is unfit for any gentleman to live. So so the main solution is getting the instructions of our Guru Maharaj. Text number 3. Anyone would like to read the translation of the text number 3?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Whatever doubts I have about a particular subject matter, ask you later. For that, this instruction to help me is difficult to understand. Please tell in a simple way so that I can understand. My mind is very inquisitive and I want to understand clearly.
Very good. So here, the King Ravagana is clearly explaining how should we understand the particular subject. There is, my mind is very inquisitive. One should be very inquisitive. So here, King Ravagana is displaying how one should approach a spiritual master, how one should approach his guru. So here, Prabhupada explains about an intelligent person. So who is an intelligent person? We can see over here, who is an intelligent person? An intelligent man must be very inquisitive to know the transcendental science deeply. One should have very inquisitiveness to understand this transcendental science of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we are here. We are having Saturday and Sunday Bhagavatam classes, Sunday satsangs, and so many senior devotees and Maharajas are giving so many lectures. One should be very inquisitive to listen to those lectures, attend Srimad Bhagavatam classes. So this is a sign of an intelligent man. One should understand one's position and be inquisitive to understand more and more about this transcendental science. So we hear Gajendra Moksha and Prahlad Leela. So we see Gajendra went into the river, caught hold of the crocodile, and later he prays to Vishnu. Vishnu comes and gives the moksha. So we hear so many times of this lecture. So if we think that yes, I know Gajendra Moksha, I understood Gajendra Moksha, and I am fit to act like that, then we are not advanced. So no, we are not a devotee at all. So each and every speaker has a mood. Each and every speaker explains the same Gajendra Moksha in a different way, according to our nature, according to his mood. So it is not that the same Gajendra Moksha we are hearing. The conclusion of the Gajendra Moksha are different. So one should be very inquisitive to understand the Leelas, Krishna Leelas more and more. That is the sign of an intelligent man. And Srila Prabhupada here quotes the Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. This is how one should approach the spiritual master. There are three components over here. First is pranipat. That is, student must approach a spiritual master and surrender unto him. One should surrender to the spiritual master. That surrendering to the spiritual master means I have no other goal except my spiritual master. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate giri. Kripa tamham mandi Sri Guru Tirtharinam. So, by the grace of the spiritual master, even a dumb man can speak. Even a layman can cross the oceans. It is only by the mercy of the spiritual master. One should have a thorough understanding of this point, pranipatena. Second is sevaya. One should not only surrender to the spiritual master, but also render loving service. Saying that I'm surrendered to you, Guru Maharaj, I'm surrendered to you, whatever instructions you say, doesn't help until unless we serve the spiritual master. So how can we serve the spiritual master? There are two ways. One is Vapu and the other is Vani. Vapu is one should be one is who is close to the spiritual master and serve him physically. But not all the disciples get this opportunity. So the more than the Vapu is the Vani service. So here from the spiritual master, here the lectures of the Guru Maharaj. So in these lectures, all the instructions are embedded. Get the instructions from the lecture and follow those instructions. So propagate this Krishna conscious. Help the Guru Maharaj in propagating this Krishna conscious movement. So preaching is very much important in our community. This is how we are helping our Guru Maharaj. Not that we are because we are exalted. We are everything. We can speak nice English or nice languages. That doesn't mean that we can give nice classes. So we should give classes in the mode that we are helping our Guru Maharaj do his services. That is how we can render our service. One of the way we can render our services. Pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashnena. So we must also question him in order to understand the instructions. Pariprashna. These are the three components how we can approach our spiritual master. This is how Rahugana is showing by his own example. Text number 4. Any devotee would like to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
O Master of Yogic Power, you said that fatigue. Yes, you said that fatigue resulting from moving the body here and there is appreciated by direct perception, but actually there is no fatigue. It simply exists as a matter of formality. By such inquiries and answers, no one can come to the conclusion of the absolute truth. Because of your presentation of this statement, my mind is little disturbed. Hare Krishna.
So here Rahugana is explaining how his mind is bewildered. O Master of the yogic power, you said that fatigue resulting from moving the body here and there is appreciated by direct perception. So here he is concentrating about the fatigueness of the body. The fatigue we can see here as a Srila Prabhupada explains it here as pains and pleasures. So we undergo so many pains and pleasures in this material world. But who is actually undergoing the pain and pleasure? So we all know this body is made up of some earth elements like earth, water, fire, etc. And this is a dead matter. A dead matter cannot undergo pain and pleasure. And we all know in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, that we are the souls. Soul is always Satchidananda, is part and parcel of Krishna. Soul doesn't undergo pain and pleasure. It's always Satchidananda. Then who is undergoing the pain and pleasure? So we can see the explanation of in Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukada. Agama paino anityasa tantiti shava bharata. So it is only the association of the soul with the body. The soul is identifying matra sparshastu kaunteya. It is only by the association of the soul with the body. How does the soul is associating with the body? It is through the mind. The mind is acting as a attachment between the soul and the body. So one should be away from these pains and pleasures. Here, Krishna explains that the pains and pleasures experienced in relation to the body are temporary; they come and go. So just like nobody wants pain, but pain comes naturally. Similarly, pleasure also comes by its own accord. We no need of doing so much struggle for getting that pleasure. So we do so many materialist activities so that we can be happy. But Krishna says the pain and pleasures they come according to our karma and go away. One should not be attached to those. Then what are we going to what are we going to do? So we have to do our bhakti. So even when we are doing the bhakti, the pain and pleasures come and go. One should not be disturbed by them, but should tolerate them and continue with spiritual realization. Generally, what happens? Because of some pain, we come into the spiritual life. But fortunately, we come into the Krishna conscious movement. But when Even after coming into the Krishna conscious movement, we undergo certain pains. And pleasure is anyway, nobody will deny it. We all welcome pleasures. But when pain comes, what is the first thing which we are going to stop? We stop chanting, stop all the bhakti. This is what we should not do. We should all tolerate these pains and pleasures and continue associating with the devotees, do the Krishna conscious activities. I should not lose of the spiritual journey. It's a very rare opportunity that we have got it. We should not lose that because of the pain and pleasures. Anyone would like to read text number 5 and 6? The translation. Hey Krishna.
Read,
Hare Krishna.
read Prabhuji.
Yes, Maharaj, please.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The self-realized Brahmana, Jadabharata, said, among the various material combinations and permutations, there are various forms and earthly transformations. For some reason, these move on the surface of the earth and are called palanquin carriers. Those material transformations which do not move are gross material objects like stones. In any case, the material body is made of earth and stone in the form of feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, torso, throat, and head. Upon the shoulders in the wooden palanquin, and within the palanquin in the so-called
Yes.
called so-called king of Sauvira. The body of king is simply another transformation of earth, but within that body, your lordship is situated and falsely thinking that you are the king of the state of Sauvira. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. So from here, Jadapartha starts speaking. He says that every body which we are seeing right now, whether it is moving or non-moving. So moving here is that he is referring to palanquin carriers, the ants, whatever we are seeing, they are all whatever moving and non-moving like stones, stones, etc., are also the transformations of the earth. This body is also a transformation of the earth, created from the earth, water, fire, air, all those material elements. So he's saying, Jadapartha is saying that the entire body is, each and every body is a different transformation of the earth. Though they are transformation of the earth, they are the same earth. They are all mixed into with the same earth. Whether one is a Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his I think I forgot the book name. In one of his book, he says even the stones have the life. Even the stones, even in the material world, they have the life. So, but the problem is the difference between the stone and plant and the human being is the state of consciousness, the level of consciousness which they carry. The stones have almost zero consciousness. Plants have small little consciousness, and the human beings have the greater consciousness. Otherwise, everything is a living entity. Everything is a transformation of this body. And he goes on to say that you king, you Rahugana, is also made of the same earth. The palanquin yes, the stone, and you belong to the same class called the earth. Then what is the difference? What is the problem? But within the body, your lordship is situated, falsely thinking that you are the king of the state of the Sauvira. He says, oh Ravgana, actually you are residing in this body. You are not this body, you are residing in this body and falsely thinking that you are the king of the Sauvira. So what is Jadabata saying? Here it is he is saying that we are all under illusion. We are all under, and we are all misidentifying so we are all misidentifying with our body. So Jadabharata concludes that the real living force is the living entity. We are the souls. So here again, Jadabharata is speaking about the Sankhya philosophy, where he's saying that you are the soul. The living entity is the offshoot or offspring of the Lord Vishnu. We are all eternal parts and parcels of the Vishnu. So the real principle is Vishnu. So due to his presence, everything is working and there are actions and reactions. So the fact that we are alive is because Krishna as Paramatma is staying inside our heart. When Paramatma decides that it's time to go out, then this body falls down. It's not that we get some disease and we fall, we die. It is that our karma gets exhausted and Paramatma within our heart walks out and our body falls down. So because of the presence of the Vishnu inside everything is working and actions and reactions are happening. Although he was falsely proud of being a king, King Rahugana was not really situated. Though at this point of time, King Rahugana was not situated in a proper frame of knowledge. Therefore he was rebuking the Palanquin periods. So that's when one is not situated in the proper knowledge, one identifies himself as a body and thinking that body itself is working, and we start to blame all others. They are not doing the task properly. They are the reason for my problem. No. So just like karma, we had the karma theory. So karma comes through the particular person. It is not that the particular person is the cause of our distress. Our own karma is coming through our relatives, friends, etc. So this can be understood only by a person who is elevated in spiritual knowledge. A materialistic person cannot understand. They think that this situation is the cause of their distress. Therefore, he was started rebuking Jadabharata. When we are grossly covered by our bodily senses, our bodily conception, we even start blaming devotees. Vaishnava, we do Vaishnava aparadha. One should elevate one's consciousness spiritually. So not that we are in spiritual journey, we are doing our chanting, we are doing our services, doesn't mean that we are progressing. One should be very much elevated in the spiritual knowledge. One should get the knowledge as well. So this is the first accusation that Jadabharata is making. Because you are identifying with the body, you are making all these mistakes. This is the first rebutation what we have seen in the earlier chapter 5.11, where Jadabharata starts, because you are identifying with your body. So King Rahugana argued that the living entity is within the body and then the body is fatigued. So King Rahugana was saying that since the soul is present within the body, and when the body is fatigued, the soul undergoes pain and distress. It is clearly rebuked by Chadabharata here. Srila Prabhupada gives an example of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur over here. So earlier he said, King Rahugana mentioned that fatigue resulting from moving the body. So what does Srila Prabhupada give is, a man is not fatigued in carrying the ornaments of a young girl. So here one example Prabhupada gives is, just like a young man who is in love with a young woman is not fatigued by carrying her ornaments. We see the lover takes his lover to the shopping mall, where she buys so many articles, so many bags she carries, and the bags she gives to the lover, to the man, and the man happily holds it. He doesn't say, "You are buying so many things. I cannot hold this." He's very happy holding the whatever the purchases done by the girl. He is not fatigued by carrying the ornaments. And another example given by Srila Prabhupada is, parents are not fatigued in carrying their son. Just like, see, no parent will say that this son is a burden to me. This son or a child, girl, whatever it may be. No parent will say that my child is a burden to me. Fortunately, I have not seen in my life any mother or a father saying this. They are happy carrying the burden of the son. So what is Srila Prabhupada wanted to convey to us? He says the happiness and distress are experienced by one particular identity. So one person is identifying himself as a young man who is a lover of a young girl. He is not fatigued with carrying the ornaments. The other soul is identifying that I am the mother, I am the father, and I don't feel the burden of carrying the sun. So just like that, the soul, though the body undergoes so much pains and pleasures, the soul doesn't feel the fatigueness. It is because it treats it as a responsibility. The living entity has nothing to do with the bodily pains and the pleasures. These are simply mental concoctions. As we learned, the matra sparshas to kaunteya. It is only by false identification of our with the body. It is only the false identification, our own mental concoctions, that is creating the problems. Otherwise, the soul doesn't have and undergo any pains and pleasures because of the body. Text number 7. Anyone like to read? Hare Krishna. Anyone would want to
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'll read Prabhu.
Yes, Madhusudan.
It is a fact, however, that these innocent people carrying your palanquin without payment are certainly suffering due to this injustice. Their condition is very lamentable because you have forcibly engaged them in carrying your palanquin. This proves that you are cruel and unkind. Yet, due to false prestige, you were thinking that you were protecting the citizens. This is ludicrous. You were such a fool that you could not have been adored as a great man in an assembly of persons advanced in knowledge.
Very good. So here, Jadabata is saying that, O king, your rule is adharmic. He is rebuking that your whatever rule you are doing is adharmic. Here Rahugana is identifying himself as a king, and he is thinking that he is controlling the citizens as he liked. But actually, he was engaging men in carrying his palanquin without any payment. So Jadabata is saying that you are thinking you are a king and you are engaging your citizens. You are protecting your citizens by not paying them. So if see, we are working for some certain company, and if the company doesn't give us salary, then what are we going to do? We say that this company is not good, and I am going to change the company. So if the king is not paying sufficiently to the carriers, then he is treating them in a wrong way. Therefore, he was causing them trouble without reason. So in this context, His Holiness Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj was saying that in Sistastakam, we have heard that Rinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishna Amanina Manidena Kirtaniya Sadahari. What does the statement says? So in order for us to remember Krishna, in order for us to chant constantly the names of Krishna, one has to be humble like a blade of a grass and offer respect to all others. He's saying respect to all others. He's not even it is not saying that respect to only devotees. So what happens being in a satsang, what we do is when a senior devotee comes, when a senior Maharaj comes, we all pay dandavats, we all say hey, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, all those things. When a person who is of equal caliber to all of us speaks or comes to the satsang, we start envy. Oh, he's doing so many services. He just came along with me. We both are 1 year old in Krishna consciousness, and we're doing so many services. We start envying them. And when we see people who are just newly entering into satsangs, who are just neophyte devotees, we start looking down upon them. This is what Kalambanam Manmaras was saying. So if one has to follow the Trinadapi Sunichina principle, one has to give equal importance to each and every devotee, to each and every living entity. So one should be able to see the divine soul within the bodies. So one is a neophyte, one is an advanced, doesn't make that they are different. Of course, according to the realization, we give respect, but one should equally give respect to each and every devotee. So here, Charabharta was saying that thing because these people are your citizens, and because you think that you are a king, and you think that you are a kshatriya and highest in the class, and they are the sudras, they are meant to be employed, and you are not giving any payment to them, you are causing them the problem. This is what you are doing. You are cruel and unkind. The having cruel and unkind mind cannot understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we have this nature that I am superior, we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But unfortunately, Srila Prabhupada says, unfortunately, in this Kali Yuga, our so-called heads of the governments are plunderers and thieves. They do not have any idea of what the soul is. So these thieves and plunderers take the money and property of the public by force, in the form of taxes, all those things, which we are seeing daily in our life. There will be no longer a sane man capable of understanding God and relationship with Krishna. So what happens because of this? We cannot understand Krishna and we cannot understand our relationship with Him. So what happens? The Lord incarnates and sets things in order when things are mismanaged by so-called kings and heads of the government. Yada yada hi dharma. So we all know the incarnation of Parashurama. So why Krishna incarnated as Parashurama? Because the kings at that time, they are thought that they are the greatest. They can do whatever they like. So in order to eliminate such kings, Krishna incarnated as Parashurama and eliminated all the impious kings. So wherever impious nature becomes more and more prominent when dharma gets reduced, Krishna incarnates to eliminate all the impious people. So nature deals without punishments in the form of war, famine, and force. So even the nature, we can see all these things. There are so many punishments we have seen. So many wars are happening. So many punishments are getting given. Famine, droughts, all those things are coming. Even the nature treats like this. Maya Dakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This nature is under the direct control of the Supreme Personality of God. He no need he doesn't have any need to come to this material world. By the help of the nature, he can do all the punishments. So here at the end of the purport, what is Srila Prabhupada is giving that role of a king, role of a head of the state. It is therefore the duty of the head of the state to maintain the general populace in such a way that people will ultimately know the goal of life. So what is the role of a king, role of a head of the family? To ensure that the dependents are knowing the goal of life. What is the goal of life, human life? The general populace do not know that the ultimate goal of life is to understand across the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Vishnu. So one being the head of the state, or head of the family, head of the state, one should make things favorable for Krishna consciousness. So that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam, one place it is mentioned that if you have no capacity to make your dependence to Krishna consciousness, one doesn't have one cannot take the role of a father, mother, guru, or even a devata. So what is our duty? To see that everyone is in Krishna consciousness. We have to make situation favorable for Krishna consciousness. Text number 8. Anyone would like to read?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
All of us on the surface of the globe are living entities in different forms. Some of us are moving and some not moving. All of us come into existence, remain for some time, and are annihilated when the body is again mingled with the earth. We are all simply different transformations of this earth. Different bodies and capacities are simply transformations of the earth that exist in name only. For everything grows out of the earth, and when everything is annihilated, it again mingles with the earth. In other words, we are but dust, and we shall but be dust. Everyone can consider this point. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So if you see, this is a close relation to Bhagavad Gita, Dehino Vishnu Nita Dehi. So that verse says, so we are embodied souls in this body, passing from youth to childhood to youth to old age, and then pass this body. Pasamsi Jirnani Yata Vihaya. So when this body is no longer fit for use, we throw this body and take this word. Dhirastatra muhyati. One who is one who is understanding this knowledge is very sober and doesn't get any fear. So here Jadavarta is saying the same thing. We come into existence. This body, and this body is material body, undergoes six transformation. It takes birth, it grows, it produces some certain kinds of offspring, and then ultimately dwindles and dies away. But the internal things, the internal soul doesn't undergo such a change. This is always constant. So we can see this. Different bodies and capacities are simply the transformations of the earth. So we get the particular kind of a body based on our own karma. So if my karma is good, I get a heavenly bodies. If I got and it's a normal, it's a mixture, then I get a human body. If I have done so many bad activities, I have suffer more, then I will get a low bodies. So the body which we get is based on our karma. These are all nothing but different transformations of the earth that exist in the name only. And what happens after that? Everything grows out of the earth, and when everything is annihilated, it mingles with earth. This body will not stay for longer time. That even that statement is given in Bhagavad Gita that this body, whatever is perishable, you cannot protect it. What needs to be protected is imperishable. The soul needs to be protected and it's imperishable, and this body is perishable. We cannot protect it. That's what he's saying. Nothing is permanent in this world. There is nothing that is going to be permanent. Everything has a starting and everything has a beginning. So we all one day has to depart from this world. There is nothing nothing we have to do. The scientists say that we are finding solutions so that we can conquer death. That is not possible. That is not possible. Everything has to go one day or the other. This body cannot be maintained. Then he says, we are but a dust, we shall be a dust. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this body ultimately is going to become either ash or stool or something else. It's become dust. It becomes dust. So we are bothered about this body. We are decorating this body, not knowing that this body one day becomes a dust. So Krishna, the Advaita is saying, you are falsely identifying with this body. But Srila Prabhupada here explains that the material energy is also Krishna's energy. This material body is also Krishna's energy, but it is a separated energy. So material energy is separated from Krishna, and spiritual energy is one which is not separated from the Krishna. The spiritual energy is also his energy, but it is not separated from him. When the material energy is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, so-called material energy is also transformed into the spiritual energy. So when these material things are engaged in the service of the Krishna, this material body is also becoming spiritual. That's why when we see the senior acharyas, their body is not burnt. Once they release the body, we preserve the body and worship that. So in the form of samadhi, we all know that. So because his body, Acharya's body is not material, it's completely spiritual. Because he engages his entire body for moving here and there to spread Krishna consciousness. Our body is material because we do not use properly Krishna consciousness. The knowledge of those who are not interested in knowing the original cause of all emanations is never perfect knowledge. So what is perfect knowledge? One should know the original cause of all this. So here, Srila Prabhupada gives an example of aromas from the earth are different scents manufactured and used for different purpose, but original cause is the earth, nothing else. So once while I was traveling in an airport, I have seen a shop where the shop is selling different perfumes. So what is the specialty of the shop is there are so many perfumes over there, and we can go there and we can design our own perfumes. Give the smell of our loved ones or something what we like. They prepare the perfume exactly like that. So they mix so many perfumes and make a one perfume combination of the perfumes. But where does the perfume coming from? Where does the aroma coming from? It is coming from the earth. The cause of the perfume is earth. Similarly, we can see so many bodies, varieties of the bodies in this material world. Dog body, hog body, animal bodies. human bodies, devata bodies. There are so many bodies in this material world which are nothing but the causes of, the ultimate cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Srila Prabhupada says, if one knows earth, if one understands the earth, he naturally understands the byproducts of the earth. So if you know the cause of the all causes, then we can understand everything. That's why Srila Prabhupada is saying that when we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is understood. There is nothing left which is not understood. So, Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, Pavitram, Hitam, Uttamam. So, this is the king of all knowledge. What is the king of all knowledge? Knowing Krishna. Because when we know Krishna, we know everything. We know what is in relation with everything, what is material, what is spiritual. That's what he's saying. Satyam Param Dhimahi. So we started Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1 as Satyam Parama Dhimahi. This is the first highest thing is the absolute truth. One has to concentrate one's understanding on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is sum and substance of Mat Sarvani, Mastani Sarva Bhutani Nachaham Keshwan. The sum and summary of the phenomenal and nominal philosophy is to know Krishna. So, anyone would like to read ninth sloka, ninth translation?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Fine.
Prabhuji, correct, can you check?
Can you see, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. One may translation, text number 8 translation. One may say that varieties arise from the planet Earth itself. However, although the universe may temporarily appear to be the truth, it ultimately has no real existence. The Earth was originally created by a
Created by
combination of atomic particles, but these particles are impermanent. Actually, the atom is not the cause of the universe. Although some philosophers think so, it is not a fact that the varieties found in this material world simply result from atomic
juxtaposition.
juxtaposition or combination.
So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining about the ordinary scientists which we see daily. Science says that everything is a combination of some protons, electrons, neutrons, whatever they name it. There are so many ways they say that this material existence came into being because of certain combination of the material things. So just like one biggest example is the Big Bang theory. So someday or the other, the Big Bang has happened, and some materials have come out, and because of the materials, there is a creation happening. We are all created by a chance. But Srila Prabhupada rebukes it by saying that the real cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhanmadhyasya. Actually, it's not a material thing, it is a supreme being. Dhanmadhyasya. He is the original cause of all the creation. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Krishna is the original cause. Sarvam Karana Karanam. He is the all causes of all causes. So our Shastras in many places says that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Krishna is the cause of all atoms. Bhumi Rapo Anilo Vayu Kam Mano Buddhir Yevata Ankara Vikyamye Dinna Prakriti Astra. So ultimate cause of the cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the ignorance which we all have. The material people doesn't understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. So here, Jadapartha is saying that Krishna is the ultimate cause, not the transformation of not this earth. Number 10. Anyone like to read it?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat
Yes,
Pranam can I?
yes.
So it's a translation, Prabhuji.
Yes, old translation.
Yeah. Since this universe has no real ultimate existence, the things within it, shortness, difference, grossness, skinniness, smallness, highness, result, cause, living symptoms, and materials, are all imagined. They are all pots made of same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predisposition, time, and activity. Can you scroll up to that?
You should know.
Yeah. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestations created by material nature. Hare Krishna.
So here Jadapartha is saying that even universe is created by material nature. So this universe is also created by the material nature, and there is no real existence. So when there is no existence for the universe, the things present in the dualities present in this universe doesn't have any significance. So what are the dualities mentioned over here? You see so many bodies with shortness, differences, grossness, skinniness, smallness, bigness, all these things. So we have different types of the body. One is stout, one is short, one is thin. All these doesn't have any significance because these bodies are created by the universe, and the universe is also having no real existence in this. The actions and reactions carried out by the material nature are sometimes accepted as our scientific innovations. Therefore, we can take credit of them and defy the existence. Science what says, Ankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manyate. So because of the Ankara, we think that we are the doers. But actually, the three modes of the material nature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actual doer. So this is the even universe is created by the material nature, which doesn't have any its own existence. The entire purpose explains about that. So anyone would like to read the text number 11? Hare Krishna. Anyone would like
Hare
to?
Krishna Prabhu. I'll read it, Prabhu. What then is the ultimate truth? The answer is that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahman. Then Paramatma, the super soul, is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. This is the second stage of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the Supreme Person. All learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudeva, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma, and others. Hare Krishna.
So in the earlier verse, 10th verse sloka, what he said, Jadapatha says, even the universe has no real ultimate existence. Then we may get a doubt. Then what is the real truth? If the universe is not true, then what is the real truth? From in 11th sloka to 13th sloka, Jadapatha explains that the real truth is the Lord's qualities, forms, abode, and bhakti are the real truth. So here he starts explaining the ultimate truth. The answer is non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. There is no other truth. The non-dual knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the words of Krishna is the ultimate truth in this material, in the entire creation, whether it is spiritual or material. Why is it? Why is so? Why is it ultimate? Is also Jadabata is also giving it here. It is devoid of contamination of the material qualities. There is no contamination of the material qualities. The Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amala Purana. His Holiness Kadam Kanam Maharaj says, our entire life should revolve around Srimad Bhagavatam because this is Amala Purana, because there is no material tinges in this. All the other Vedas has Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, material contamination. But Srimad Bhagavatam has no material conception, no conception. The starting, middle, and end of Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this non-dual knowledge is ultimate because it lacks material contamination. Not only that, it gives us liberation from the bondage of birth and death. It is one without a second. There is no other Purana which comes near to that. All pervading and beyond our imagination. That's why it is called ultimate. Then how to realize this? How can I realize this ultimate knowledge? The process is also given by Jadavarta over here. First stage is the Brahmana stage. First realization is Brahman. The second stage is Paramatman. And the third stage is Vasudeva. That's what Srila Prabhupada explains in this sloka, in this purport, that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava, Bhagavad Gita 7.19. So, such a person is very rare. Who is that person? Who understands that Vasudeva, the Bhagavan form, is the highest. That is the ultimate realization. So, first realization is the Brahman realization, then is the Paramatman realization, and ultimately it is Vasudeva Krishna, which is the source of Bhagavan, is the source of Brahman and Paramatma. So here his local Vadanti Tatvada Vikas Tatvam Jnanam Advayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Sabyate. So one who understands that Bhagavan is the highest. So how can I realize this knowledge? One should therefore approach an authorized person to understand Krishna. Tadvidi Paranipatena Pariprashnena Sevya Upadekshana. So our Pariprashna should be such that our progress should be towards understanding who is Supreme Personality of God, who is this Krishna. That's what is explained over here. Text number 12. Anyone would like to volunteer for this?
I will
Hare
read
Krishna,
it, sir.
Yes, yes, Swati.
It's okay if he wants to. Yeah.
Number
I'll
12.
read Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Text 12, translation. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of householder life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyasa, and undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee.
Hare Krishna. So here, so we have in the earlier sloka we have said what is the absolute truth? Is non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. Then how can I realize? The Jadavata is giving a process how we can realize the ultimate truth. Unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of a great devotee. So until and unless we don't get the dust of a lotus feet of a devotee, we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no other way. So that's why Rupa Goswami says, Devonmukha hi jivada swayam eva spuradgadaha. So where he says that by you cannot understand the Krishna's holy names, pastimes by our own material senses. By sevonmukhi jihvado, by the service of by service of due to tongue, we can understand Krishna as it is. So how what are we going to get by doing the service? We are going to get the mercy of the devotees. So there are some people who take this verse very literally. They, uh, they want the dust of the lotus feet. I see so many devotees who literally run towards the Maharajas. They wash the lotus feet and they drink that water. They spark with that water. They do all those things. So yes, that is okay. That is also a wonderful thing. If you get the holy dust of the Maharajas, Guru Maharajas, the senior devotees is well and good. But what does getting the dust of the holy feet, dust of the lotus feet of the dear devotee mean? Is not literally taking the scrubbing the feet and for the dust. Not that. So Giriraj Maharaj says that the meaning of getting the dust is one should follow the instructions of the great devotee. So we are not ready to follow the instructions of the devotee and we take the shortcuts. We take the Charnamrut, all those. That's okay. But more than that is following the instructions of these great devotees. So getting favor of the devotees means one has to favorably serve a great devotee. One has to get the mercy of the devotees. Until and unless we don't get the mercy of the great devotee, we are not going to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we may do so many things like this. One cannot, Jadabata says, one cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing the brahmacharya. By strictly following the rules and regulations of the household life, I'm following the Vedic principles. I'm doing the chanting of the holy names. Doesn't do work out. Yes, chanting the holy names is very important. Why are we doing the chanting? Why are we doing the chanting? To get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through our Guru Maharaj. So leaving home as Vanaprastha, accepting sannyasa, or undergoing severe penances in winter. So in this last line, we can see the example of Vishwamitra Muni, who did so many penances to understand the Supreme Personality of God to get the Brahmashi position. But he, by Menaka's ankle well, he was disturbed. But in the case of Haridas Thakur, even when Haridas Thakur prostitute approaches Haridas Thakur, he was not disturbed by that. So what made Vishwamitra to fall down and what made Haridas Thakur to conquer is the service is the chanting of the holy names for rendering service to his guru. That is what is difference between the Vishwamitra Muni and Haridas Thakur. Ultimately, Vishwamitra would get success only because of Vasishtha. Until unless Vasishtha favored Vishwamitra Muni, he was not successful. A great devotee need to come into our life because of his mercy only. We can be successful in our processes. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of the great devotee. Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all those yogas are there, all those processes are there. There are so many other things, but until unless we get the mercy of the Supreme Personality, a great devotee, we are not going to get success. Number 13. Anyone would like to read?
Hare Krishna, can I again, Prabhuji?
Yes. Please.
Yeah, thank you. So, translation 13, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Who are the pure devotees mentioned here? In an assembly of pure devotees, there is no question of discussing material subjects like politics and sociology. In an assembly of pure devotees, there is discussion only of the qualities, forms, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is praised and worshipped with full attention. In the association of pure devotees, by constantly hearing such topics respectfully, even a person who wants to merge into the existence of the absolute truth abandons this idea and gradually becomes attached to the service of Vasudeva. Hare Krishna.
So here Janabartha is giving a symptom of who is a great devotee. So earlier we have seen a great devotee has to give message to all people. Then how can we identify a great devotee? What are his qualities? He is mentioned over here. So where the mind becomes fixed in Vasudeva by hearing. So wherever we remember Krishna, and wherever our mind gets fixed onto Krishna, that association is the association of the devotees. That is the quality of a pure devotee. So in this verse, the quality of a pure devotee is mentioned. Srila Prabhupada says, one Gramya Varta na Katibe. One should not indulge in talking unnecessarily about the news of the material world. The devotee is the one who doesn't do prasalpa, who doesn't talk about the material things. One should not waste time in this way. This is a very important feature. One should abandon prasalpa. So why one should abandon prasalpa? One of the lecture, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says. So every devotee, one devotee has asked, how can I improve my chanting? How can I improve my quality of the chanting, rounds of the chanting? So we all do that. So we all want to improve our rounds, quality, quantity, etc. How are we going to do? His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, if you are doing prajalpa and offending devotees, you cannot hand the good japa. So if you are doing prajalpa, what is the state of consciousness? What is the state of consciousness when the rest of 22 hours decides our 2 hours of chanting? If you are remaining 22 hours, we are doing the prajalpa, our 2 hours of chanting is going to be bad japa. So our mind should be controlled. So good japa favors 22 hours and 22 hours of consciousness favors our japa. So how am I going to avoid this prajalpa? So the best thing is doing our chanting early in the morning. So when early in the morning, before the Brahma Muhurta, at the time of Brahma Muhurta, our mind is easy to control. that all the prajalpa which we have done in the 22 hours, it is easy to control at that time. So wake early in the morning, complete your japa by at least by 7 o'clock. Your first 16 rounds should be completed by 7 a.m. But I can see some of our devotees who are constantly chanting even in the evening satsangs. I don't if it is extra rounds, that's okay. If it might be some devotees might be chanting their extra rounds, that's okay. But if we are keeping our rounds pending even in the evening times, coming to the satsangs and completing our 16 rounds of japa is not a good japa. We are not giving priority to the our morning sadhana. So it is better to change our life, adjust our life such that we complete our first 16 rounds early in the morning by 7 a.m. So then what happens? Our 22 hours of what we are going to do in the next is going to be very good. So we can whatever we do in the rest of the 22 hours, we can think Krishna. We can do we can offer it to Krishna. It's much more beneficial. So when our 22 hours gets benefited, and our 22 hours of japa gets improved. This is what Holy Sadhanath Maharaj says. So all the Mahacharyas, Guru Maharajas, they constantly emphasize that we finish our rounds early in the morning. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, at least for half an hour, and associate with the devotees. So then only we can improve in our spiritual life. There is no unnecessary wastage of time. So free time is very dangerous. As well, Radha Maharaj says, free time is not an opulence. It's very great danger. One should not be free. We should always engage either in reading, chanting, or doing any kind of the service. So this movement, Krishna conscious movement, was started to engage people 24 hours daily in the service of the Lord. So presently we are all young or middle aged, but when our body gets old, we cannot do physical services. That is impossible. So we cannot remember verses, we cannot give great classes, everything happens. So when our old age comes, then what are we going to do? The only thing we can do is chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by the time we get old, one should get the taste of the chanting of the holy names. Otherwise, after 16 rounds, if I finished my 16 rounds and kept my feedback there, what are we going to do? When we are getting old, we start breaking prajalpa. So we see in these high-rise communities, the old people they discuss about real estate, what is the price here, what is the price there, where can I invest, where can I do that. This is not the sign of person who is retired life. So retirement means we should be more and more Krishna conscious. Until unless by the time we retire, if we are not getting the chanting of the holy names, we are going to be stressed. Even if we are coming to the satsangs. So it's better taste the chanting of the holy names. Go complete your rounds early in the morning. Increase your rounds. Don't fix to the 16 rounds. The instruction is minimum 16 rounds. Don't fix to 16. Go to 32, 64. So this is the essence. So otherwise, what happens? We give prajalpa and our material life. So our spiritual life is to do. Text number 14. Anyone would like to do? Anyone would like to read?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
In a previous birth, I was known as Maharaj Bharata. I attained perfection by becoming completely detached from material activities through direct experience and through indirect experience. I received understanding from the Vedas. I was fully engaged in the service of the Lord, but due to my misfortune, I became very affectionate to a small deer, so much so that I neglected my spiritual duties. Due to my deep affection for the deer, in my next life, I had to accept the body of a deer.
Right. So this all we have seen in the previous chapters. I'm not going to explain about what Maharaj Bharata was saying. So we all know that in the previous life, he was Maharaj Bharata. Later he became a deer. because of the misfortune. So what was his misfortune? Srila Prabhupada explains that despite a very rigid life and devotional service, Bharata Maharaj did not consult a spiritual master when he became overly attached. Because he did not attach, because he did not consult his spiritual master. When we don't consult our spiritual master, when we don't consult our counselor, when we don't consult the senior devotees, what are we going to have? What is going to happen to our spiritual life? Just like the Bharat Maharaj, we fall down again into the material ocean. So this is a consequence of a prajalpa even. So when we don't engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we increase our prajalpa, whereby we increase our affection towards our material life. And what happens? We get attached to this material life and we fall down again into this material pool. That's what Jada Bharta is explaining over here. Text number 15. Anyone would like to read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll read it.
You can complete the
Translation.
text number 15 and 16, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu. My dear heroic king, due to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life, even while in the body of a deer. Because I am aware of the fall down in my past life, I always keep myself separate from the association of ordinary men. Being afraid of their bad materialistic association, I wandered alone, unnoticed by others.
Text number
16. Simply by associating with exalted devotees, anyone can attain perfection of knowledge, and with the sword of knowledge can cut to pieces the illusory associations within this material world. Through the association of devotees, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting Shravanam Kirtanam. Thus, one can receive his dormant Krishna consciousness and sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home back to Godhead, even in this life. Hare Krishna.
So here Srila Prabhupada mentions about Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Kalpam Bhakti Asya Dharmasya. So there is a great, if one falls from the human birth to the animal body, it's a great fall. Anyone doesn't want, do not want to become an animal in the next life. Everyone wants to get liberated. But here, Bharat Maharaj, even though after doing certain bhakti, he fell from the human body to the animal body. So getting the animal body is also not a problem. And provided if you do the bhakti. So in the case of an air body, he say, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tejanti and at the time of death, whatever state we remember, we get it. So Bharat Maharaj is an example of that. He remembered that deer and he became a deer in the next life. But what happened? Swalpam astrayato mahato bhaya. So there is no fear. Then why there is no fear when he got an animal body? Because the bhakti which he has done in the body of Maharaj Bharata, he could remember even in the animal body. So our devotional service should be such an extent that we should finish right in this body. If not, at least we are going to get a great body. So don't neglect this Krishna conscious movement. Don't this Krishna conscious activity. Keep on chanting, associate with the devotees, read Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita in association with the devotees until last birth. Leave the rest, everything to Krishna. Whether we get an animal body or a devata body or whatever, because of the bhakti we do in this present life, we get the chance to continue our bhakti from the next life. How can we do that? How can we increase our bhakti? By associating with an exalted devotees. So simply come to the satsangs. Hear and read attentively. So simply coming to the satsang doesn't benefit us. So what is the role of satsang? What is the role of us in the satsang? We have to hear and chant about the Krishna. If only thing related to Krishna should happen. So a speaker is speaking about Krishna, and the other people should listen about Krishna. There are some devotees who prepare prasada. That is also Krishna service. But in the satsang, it should not be like material association. We should not be like a kitty party. In the satsang, we all discuss about our material things. That doesn't happen. That should not happen. Coming to the satsangs, we have to focus on Krishna and his devotees service. That is the role of a satsang. So associate with the devotees, hear from them, understand about the Krishna, and one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting. Thus, one can revive his dormant Krishna consciousness and sticking to this cultivation. One should stick whatever it may be, whatever however our life goes out, whether pain and distress comes, one has to cultivate Krishna consciousness, and we can go back home, get go to Godhead. So, before concluding, I would like to share the summary for all of your benefit. So, we have discussed the disease of the mind. So, bitten by the serpent of ignorance. What is the problem? Our mind is the problem, which is bitten by ignorance. So, that's why you are experiencing pain and pleasure in relation to the body, which are all temporarily. Because of this temporary nature, we are facing problems. Our condition is body. Our body is filled with so many dirty things like stool, urine, etc. And our vision is bitten by serpent of the pride. We are Ankara Vibhudatma. And what is the solution? The nectarian instructions of the Guru. This is a proper medicine. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena seven. That's the process of our removing our condition. So, who is an intelligent man? One must be very inquisitive to know non-transcendental science deeply. One should be very thoroughly convinced about the philosophy. Without philosophical conviction, we are not going to, whether we chant the holy names. So when the bad things happen, if you don't have the philosophical conviction, we are going to get away from the when the spiritual path. First and foremost is to get the philosophical conviction. Everything is only a transformation of the earth. Earth is the cause of all the bodies, and nothing is permanent in this world. Krishna is the ultimate cause and offer respect to all. Trinadapi Sunisha, not only to the devotees, to all, each and every living entity. Then what is the absolute truth? The non-dual knowledge like Lord's qualities, past tense, form, abode, and bhakti are the absolute truth. Then why is it truth? Because it is devoid of the contamination. There is no material contamination. It gives us liberation. There is nothing one without a second, all pervading and beyond the imagination. So what is the process of realization? So from Brahman to Paramatman and Paramatman to Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. The ultimate knowledge is to get the Bhagavan feature or Vasudeva. So how do you attain that? One has to be favored by the devotees of Krishna. There is no other way. Until unless we don't get the devotees' mercy, we are not going to get Vasudeva. So not by celibacy, renunciation, or etc. Then who is such a devotee? Who is a Sthita Prajna? Where the mind becomes fixed in Vasudeva by hearing. So what are the symptoms of such a devotee? One should not indulge in talking unnecessarily about the news or the material. No passive, no prasalpa. A very important feature. One should be concerned only with serving Krishna positively and seriously. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila says, Anukulasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Varjanam. So what is favorable for Krishna consciousness? That should be done. And what is not favorable for Krishna consciousness? That should be left out. That is the nature of a pure devotee. If one always follows the order of the spiritual master, there is no question of falling down. That's why getting initiated from a bona fide spiritual master and following his instruction and serving him is guaranteed going back to Godhead. There is no question of falling back. So avoid association of the worldly people, associate with the association of the devotees. Always have association with the devotees, regularly associate with in the satsang, come regularly, hear the holy names of the Lord Sri Krishna. These are the things which we have discussed, Jadabartha discussed with Rahukana. So I'm opening this forum for all of you for question and answers, realizations, chanting, chastisement. So there are so much, each and every verse we can speak for so many days, but because of our limited time, I just focused on the essence of each and every shloka. After this, please go to this entire chapter once again to understand what is Srila Prabhupada is explaining here from the great devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. So any questions? I know, I think I have gone very fast, skipped so many things. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Still
Krishna.
lots of no questions. Class was really excellent, and the summary and everything. So I could understand the most important chapter, because it's not exactly the conversation. Rahugana, he was the Kapila Muni. I'm sorry, before he's going to Kapila Muni, he explained the State Bharata as well. And especially your references by like Kadamba Kanan Swami Maharaj and your Prabhu, everything you're referring, their references also really helpful in the summary. Thank you so much for sharing, Namaste. Hare Krishna.
It's all because of the devotees like you and acharyas. I could speak something. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? So if there are no doubts, I think we can end the session, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for taking.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
very much.
association. Thank you so much for your association and your service. Thank you so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaः. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.